And with the latest on the floods in the south-central west of New South Wales, we're joined now by the Mayor of Forbes, Phyllis Miller. Thanks for being there, Phyllis, and obviously floodwaters behind you.
Yes, Tony, this is our car park that services our CBD and it's underwater.
So how much floodwater is actually in the CBD, in the town itself at the moment?
A considerable amount, Tony. We're totally surrounded in the CBD by water. This water behind me closes off all of our shops within the CBD, except a couple down one end that we are able to keep open.
This has been effectively a slow flood for you, so you've had plenty of volunteers out and the town has had time to prepare. What have you been doing?
Yeah, Tony, we're pretty lucky in Forbes. We have about a 5-day window when Wyangla starts to let water out and we know we're going to get a flood. So we've been evacuating people who are on that flood fringe with the predicted height of 10.65. Anyone that was vulnerable at that height, we have made sure that they're either evacuated or they've taken done the right thing not to let their houses go underwater. They've sandbagged. We've got all our community services helping people out within the flood-affected areas.
What about, let me ask you this, Phyllis, what about the people in the homesteads a little further out of town who've been caught by the floodwaters?
That's a real concern, Tony. Anyone that has lived in the district for many years is prepared when there's a flood. But we have a lot of new property owners downstream towards Bajerabong. There's a lot of stranded homesteads down there, and certainly in the next few days the SES will be doing food drops out to those people.
Now, it's the Lachlan River we're talking about here. When do you expect it to peak?
We're hoping tomorrow evening it will peak, and the big job after that is the recovery.
Sure. Do you have any idea how big the peak will be, though? Because it seems to be a bit of a mystery for many towns.
I think the Bureau does estimate a little bit above the height. Where we've got a height of 10.65. I'm hoping that it doesn't reach that because that's major flood levels. It is major now as we sit, but hopefully it's a bit lower than that and we start to recover come Saturday. We start to look forward.
Final question, how worried are you about the people downstream?
Very worried, Tony. The rural community has suffered a lot, not only with drought, but this is our second flood. We had one in 2010 and the farming community were the worst affected then. And of course now we have another flood going through their property. So it's going to be pretty tough on them in the coming months.
Phyllis Miller, we thank you for being out there in front of the flooded CBD tonight. Thank you very much for being there. Well, hopefully things will settle down tomorrow for you.
Thank you, Tony.